Hey everyone, this is Bridget, and today we're talking about how to become a Jedi, a modern day Jedi, because you are needed right now. I don't know if you've noticed the state of the world, but you are necessary, and stepping into who you actually are and what you came to this planet to do, it's time. So that's what this video is about, as related to our galactic history. And Star Wars is coming out, and so that energy, that cultural narrative is again replaying itself. It's actually cool because it's looping itself back around, and it's like, here's a mirror, here's a mirror. Are you gonna see this? Are you gonna see this? Are you gonna notice? Are you gonna remember? Are you gonna remember that you're a part of this? Are you gonna remember your galactic heritage, whether it was dark or light, and play it out again in a positive way? Consciously choose how you want to play it out. So we're going to be talking about how to step into that, how to ignite that, and how it's related to the world right now. Step one, awaken the Force. Okay, the Force, what is it? Cosmic connection, free energy, the pulse of the universe that runs through all things, that runs through you. It's really awakening that channel of life so that you can have infinite physical, energetic power, connection, knowing, information, wisdom. How do you do it? Well, for one, just acknowledging that it exists. That's like step one. The way that I like to see it is awakening your inner fire. There's a lot of fires going on right now. Southern California, a lot's going on. Bali volcano, the fire element is potently active right now. And it's really giving us a cultural opportunity to rise to this occasion, for it to ignite something in us to go, I might already be doing, some good things for the world and doing good things for myself and others, but it's like, it's time to take it to the next level, this next step. And one of the things that can be a deterrent in this path of coming down to earth to do what we are meant to be doing is apathy. Is all of a sudden just becoming kind of like numb and like hypnotized by the Matrix, which I've talked about a lot. And so it's really important to get this fire, which is kind of balance out this apathy so that you're ignited. And one of the things that happens that I've been seeing with all these things going on is it puts people into fear, right? All the stuff going on in the world right now. And fear is, you can't move. It traps you. And that's one of the things that, as these new Jedi seeds that we're cultivating, like right now as we're having this conversation, we can't get sucked into that fear, because then we are frozen and we can't actually help. We can't actually hold space and do the things that we need to be doing. And so just altering this perspective just a little bit from fear and apathy into fire and courage and something to move forward in is going to be really helpful in awakening that force and awakening that source energy so that you have something to move forward with. Step two, training. Okay, we all know, if we watched any of the Star Wars movies, that training is such a critical and necessary part. And I think this is one of the things that, as this indigo generation, all of you watching this are probably indigos, crystals, rainbow kids. This is the one thing that I think we get a little bit tripped up on, because we already have such natural, inherent empathic abilities, sensitivities. We've had some dream experiences. We've had these things happen. We've had some level of spiritual awakening. So we're like, I'm awake. I'm awake. I'm here to say, there's definitely more to develop and definitely more to cultivate. And I think taking that humble approach as beings is really important. I mean, absolutely have the empowerment to feel like you're an infinite God. That's great. And realize that there's a lot of cultivating to do. So what are your cultivation practices? Are you truly meditating? Are you taking care of the physical, the spiritual, the emotional bodies? This video is really relevant for me because I'm honestly feeling everything I'm talking about. You're probably feeling that from me, so deeply. Like it really, I feel so deeply called into training so that I can hold a deeper space for humanity, which we'll get into in other steps. So this is step 2. So what are you doing? I mean, like right now, I'm doing at least 2 hours of spiritual practice a day. I'm doing physical practices and training much more intensive than I have in the past. I'm, of course, expressing myself, creating more determination towards emotional balance. I am creating peace and balance, even though I'm a little bit more excited and fiery in this video. But what are some things that you can really step into? So a few specific directions that you could look are, 1, truly getting a meditation practice, because through focus, through that refinement of quieting the mind, is where true manifestation and change can take place. If we're not focused, no matter how great of creators and how sensitive of spiritual kids we are, we still need that, because we might need to manifest bigger things. Like we've done a good job, like up until this point, but we're gonna need more focus. So some kind of a meditation practice is gonna be really good to incorporate. Lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is key for us to awaken within the sleeping dream, to be conscious. So then we can change that subconscious level of where things in this reality are seated, so we can alter them and change them in this time space. And think about it, you're sleeping like, anywhere from 6 to 10 hours a night. That time can be utilized to transform, to learn, and to shift. A really great book I suggest on the lucid dreaming is this book, The Toltec Secret. The best, The Ancient Dreaming Magic Secrets of Mexico Revealed. So go pick up that book if you really want to go deep into the dreaming, and of course the dream recall, all that stuff. So how are you dreaming? What is your happiness like? What are your relationships like? What is your emotional health like? Really developing that. And sometimes that doesn't seem as like super cool as like doing this new like martial arts or something, but it's just as significant. And so really taking a look, especially as the new year's coming, at what intentions and goals you have for the next year in these different aspects of your life. And of course, how are you treating your health? How are you treating your body? We're so lucky that we have these bodies that in ways we can treat like crap, and we're living in a very toxic world, and somehow they still are operational. But they can live much longer. They can live 200 to 300 years, if not longer. And so creating a greater depth of wisdom of perspective, a longevity perspective of going, I'm here to stay, and I'm going to take care of all aspects of myself, because I need to be around to create this new world. And that can be a little touchy for some of us, because we're starseeds, and it's like, well, I don't even really want to be here anyways. It's like, kind of get me out. And that's part of it, is we have to go and put our feet on the ground and go, I'm here to stay. And when we do that, the whole universe can open up in us. And that's really like where the force comes through. So opening these different training channels in the mind, body, spirit is going to be critical, because 1, you'll feel more comfortable being here, and you'll know what to do while you're here. Step 3, light or dark, right? This is always the question that is posed in the Star Wars movies, this decision between light or dark. Well, the Jedi is the middle path. It's balancing both, always keeping both in mind. And one of the things that does happen when this fire ignites and then the fire gets expanded, the field gets expanded in the person, it becomes power. And it becomes like, well, what am I going to do with this power? And then that decision comes up of, well, do I take this towards, do I utilize the power for dark, or do I utilize the power for good? And this is the question of our galaxy. Like, this is the question of Earth right now. And so really keeping that at the forefront of your mind, of your heart, I think is really important. This is where the galactic history comes in. That's so important. Just like in my last video when I was talking about past lives, and remembering these times where you have been the darkness, or remembering these times when your planet was destroyed, and actually letting that change you, letting that come into your conscious being so that you go, I don't want to do that again. And so again, there's this expanding out beyond just you, beyond just this life, into this bigger picture, and going, what is my soul stamp? What is my soul imprint that I'm going to leave on this galactic play out? And right now, we're at the like chrysalis, we're in the crucible of that decision. And so however you can, take a look at the galactic history. So I'm going to suggest in the playlist in the comments below, that's at the top of the comments, there's a playlist that goes over the galactic history from Dan Winters and Adam Apollo, and I really suggest going and watching those two videos to begin to get a hold on the crazy galactic wars that went on in Orion, and how much that affected us on both sides, how much infiltration of and destruction of the Orion energy destroying worlds and taking things over, and how much on the other side of the victimness that went on as well. And so really getting that back awakened in our bones so that we can go, okay, well, what do we want to do right now? And when the fires are burning in Southern California, it's like, okay, what am I going to do right now? And that's why I'm calling you to the occasion of stepping into your Jedi nature so that we can navigate this and really hold the space as stewards, which is number 4. Number 4 is becoming true stewards, galactic ambassadors, and earth ambassadors for this time. Now, in the spiritual community, we talk about like, balancing the earth grid and like these kind of things, and they're kind of amorphous and they kind of just seem like foo-foo, but there's actual physics behind it. And Dan Winter talks about this in Atlantis, when mass groups of people were enslaved and their auric fields were on lockdown, they didn't actually have the electrical aura steering power to stabilize the earth grid, which caused mass earthquakes and all kinds of things. So in actuality, to truly have your field be free and expansive and unified with many other people will stabilize the actual earth, will bring about the new earth and like the new kind of world and cultures that we want. So watching for that as these different migration patterns, like with Agenda 21 and stuff, are happening in Southern California and different places, and Texas and all that stuff that went on with the hurricanes. It's this holding down of the people, which is with the Matrix culture as well, and being in a lot of metal, doesn't allow the electrical field of the human aura to be expansive enough to be unified with others enough to stabilize the grid. So whatever you can do as a steward, as a pillar, to balance and to bring about this radiating of light, especially in these PowerPoints, is going to be infinitely powerful and really helpful. So in reality, that stewardship, that guardianship is real. And it's not just new agey, and at the same time, it's not just something that's like flippant. It's like, oh, I'll send them some love. No, it's like, really, if we have that power, that energy of the Force cultivated in us, and we direct it towards whatever these things are, we can change it. So how can you be a true steward of this earth and of the galactic narrative and of this culture in a deeper, in a more profound way? Because there's actually so much time in the day. There is so much ability to do these things, and it's really just the decision of turning off Facebook for an extra half hour a day and turning on some meditation, you know? So there's a lot that we can do. And really, again, just staying as conscious as possible is going to be really helpful. So as you go watch the new Star Wars movie and you see her on Skellig Michael, which is my video for next week, when I went and experienced the spiritual freaking off the chart energies of Skellig Michael, who do you decide to be? And let that inspiration that comes through from that movie, that moves and ripples through time because you know it so deeply in you, how are you going to let it change you? And as you also watch the movie, embedding real clarity and clean energy through that island, because Skellig Michael is the beginning of the Michael ley line that runs down through Europe. And so how can you add more beauty, more stabilization, more conscious frequency to that grid? Because the whole collective that's watching that movie, whatever the movie directs everyone's consciousness to, is also being fed into that vortex. So how can you also create light, create balance through that vortex as the movie comes out? So that's one thing that I offer you to do as a steward of the earth, is to beam in those amazing balanced frequencies as you're watching the movie, so that it goes into the collective cultural grid to continue that stabilization. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. You are a Jedi. Remember it, embody it, do it. And check out those videos in the playlist, the Star Wars playlist that I made, which are gonna be they're so good. So go watch them. And then I'm gonna have my video next week on Skellig Michael, so that you can understand the spiritual energy of the Star Wars island when you go watch the movie and enjoy. And really continue forward in bliss, in your joy, and acknowledging everything that's going on and deciding to balance. Thanks, and if you like videos like this, like and subscribe, because that changes the algorithm of the Matrix so that videos like this can rise to the top. And thank you so much for your support. I love you. Bye.